first meeting of the school year to order. Jenny Mayu, pledge allegiance, please.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. We'll start off by acting on the minutes of our 19th regular meeting for June 12th. Anybody know any errors or omissions they'd like to bring forward? Seeing none, I accept them as presented. Second of all, the minutes of our first special meeting, July 29th, 2025. Anybody note any errors or omissions? Joe?
I think Bree's name is spelled wrong in a few places. I just quickly noticed that. I don't know if that's true or not.
It is true.
And that's on the first special?
It's on all
The top is right, the top is right, but then not throughout.
Correct.
Okay,
Jeez, that's
And if you
secretary's
want,
gonna
you
get-
can just put Bree.
Okay.
I have heard you
Nobody
say that
ever
before.
calls me by my
Heard you
full
say
name,
that
so-
before. I'm gonna, Martha struggles to, we'll work on it.
Okay.
But it was right at the top, so I didn't even
Just
notice
BRE
from now.
works.
We'll work on it.
Maybe try how
Thank
official
you.
it's had to be.
Noting that, anybody have any other errors or omissions from the 29th? Seeing none, move them as changed. Bree, was it mentioned that it's on all the minutes or just that particular one?
It was on the first one and the second one. I hadn't noticed it on
The organization?
the organization one. I think that is
So I'll check.
No, it's on
June
the-
12th, you think it's wrong in June 12th as well?
correct.
Okay.
yes.
July
I'll-
29th.
We'll do a thorough review.
Thorough review on Brianna's name.
Thank you.
All right. Thirdly, the annual organization meeting of August 7th. Anybody know any errors or omissions on those minutes? Seeing none, accept them
It's good.
as presented, as long as Bree's name is correctly
It
printed.
looks good.
I'm gonna start going just brief.
Just Bree. All right.
It's not that hard.
Thirdly, report of the board chair. Welcome, thank you for coming. Don't really have much to say, so I think we can just move along at this point. Can't really think of anything I want to address at this moment. I will bring it up at the time if I feel necessary, but right now I'm not thinking of anything I want to bring forward, so. Let's move on to public comment. Any public wishing to comment currently? If you do, I would ask you to state your name and the town you're from, please. Oh, I was about to say going once, going twice, so you caught it right there.
Darlene Zupanzik Green, and I just
Hold
want to
on
thank
one
you all.
quick second. Darlene,
Zupanzik, Zupancic, and Darlene.
I had it right.
And I'm from Green.
thank you.
I just want to thank you all for all that you do. I greatly appreciate it. I know it's a lot of work and a lot of your time, so I just want to say thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? All right, seeing none. Take us to communications. To my knowledge, do I have any?
I don't believe
I
so.
don't believe so either.
I have a pile.
Well, congratulations. So, I have no communications. Nobody likes me. But they do like Carrie. So, superintendent, any communications?
Yep, so these are resignations since June 12th, because I would have announced everything up until then. So Maribel De La Garza, teacher of math, ELA at Tripp Middle School. Laura Swift, head custodian at the high school. Jordan Ledwith, music teacher at Green Central School. Troy Meisner, maintenance worker 2. Kimberly Klaus, special ed teacher at the middle school. Tanya Collette, transportation specialist, and Linda Castangwe, bus aide. So those are all basically pending, the end of the summer or very close to that. A lot of new hires, so many ed techs, such good news. Zoe Covert, special ed tech 3 at Leeds. Sam Thibodeau, pre-K ed tech 2 at Green. Shannon Gray, special ed tech 3 at the high school. Amy Jasmine, special ed tech 3 at Turner Primary. Stephanie Chase, special ed tech 2 at Turner Elementary. Tiffany McKenna Savage, Special Ed Ed Tech 2 at the high school. Catherine Blauvelt, General Ed Ed Tech 2 at Turner Elementary. McKenna Redstone, Special Ed Ed Tech 3 at Green. Louise Groover, Special Ed Ed Tech 3 at Tripp. Cassidy Curtis, Food Service Office Support Assistant. That is a new position that's fully funded out of food service budget, just so we're clear. Madison Phillips, General Ed Ed Tech 3 at Leeds. Tracy Roberts, Food Service Specialist, district-wide assigned to the high school. Haley Guild, Food Service Assistant, assigned at Turner Primary. Sue Merrill, van driver, effective beginning of the year. Sean Nelson, van driver through transportation. Roger Brenner, bus driver. He has been a bus driver for us before. He is now back. And Wanda Poland is a bus aide. Also, she was an Ed Tech 1 and is now shifting when we eliminated the Ed Tech 1 position. So she's shifted into a bus aide, bus aide position. That's what I got.
Thank you very much. All right, that takes us to adjustments to the agenda. To my knowledge, we only have the one adjustment, correct? We will be taking up 10.2 at an earlier time, probably around section 8, just before consent agenda, or around 7 p.m., give or take on when people arrive and so forth.
That was
Alright.
10.2.
10.2, yes. That takes us to committee reports. Finance Committee, you early risers.
Yes, we met this morning, which, just to let everyone know, we decided our new time will be 7 a.m. on board meeting days rather than 5:30, just so we don't conflict with policy. We reviewed our charge, which needs a second review. It looks like there's some negotiation language in there that either was carried over or a mistake. Gabby brought us through the reserve accounts and balances from last year, overages, from where the prior fiscal year was ending, estimates, something that she's gonna, once they go through the audit, we'll have a better idea of where those are. And then we discussed the reports that we reviewed each meeting. We looked at wood chip bids. So there's 2 outstanding bids. Gabby's gonna go back to Dave and get some more information on those. Not necessarily a price issue, but one of the vendors that provides it, the trailer doesn't quite line up, if I'm understanding it correctly, with the door.
Just a tight.
It's a little bit of a tight fit, which they could either dent, or they may have already dented, and then maybe an issue there, whether or not we wanna continue going forward with them if we can't resolve that, but that's gonna have more information next time. And then we discussed paper bids, and ultimately went with WB Mason as the cheaper bid. And that was it.
Thank you, Ashley. Does anybody have any questions for Ashley or the Finance Committee?
I was just along the trailer thing, I remember having a conversation about maybe buying the trailer or something,
Yeah, I
about
thought that was
PTB.
one too, and
Yeah.
I don't think that ever went anywhere necessarily,
Yeah.
but it all depends if they get lucky with the driver from the sound of it, because they sub it out to whoever can deliver it, and some drivers are better.
Is
I
it
guess.
wide or tall?
It's a width issue, I
It's
guess.
a little too wide.
We'll make sure that Dave can talk about it
Yeah,
at
well, I'm
PTB
sure we'll
and
talk
give the
about it.
board an update. Because the door there was some renovation work to that door in recent times that has contributed partially to this issue, I think.
It was a minimal repair to the door as opposed to complete replacement of it, because there were other dings through the years, and Dave didn't feel that it was appropriate to have this contractor repair the entire thing, just the immediate damage.
Thank you. A little bit of PTP mixed in there. What takes us to PTB, which the new committee has not met. I believe the meeting at our next meeting. Has there been any discussion from our old committee at this point? No? We're still, all right. Sometimes they have to meet for an issue, but we've been in the clear. All right, that takes us to Policy Committee with our new chair of policy.
We met this evening. We've decided that our meetings will be before our board meeting once a month. We reviewed our committee charge, which we were fine with. We discussed our policies that are gonna be reviewed throughout the year. We were given a little list. There are things here that have to do with law changes, so we're hoping to put those to the front. Let me step back a second. The next meeting, September 18th. Yes?
Yes.
Yes.
Sorry.
No, that's okay.
You couldn't hear me nodding.
September 18th, we will be taking on the Title IX review and probably hearing more what that's gonna look like, because it seems like there might be a single policy that might be able to overarch some others. And there was a request coming for reviewing outdoor heat temperatures and the use of our fields. So we've got a lot laid out in front of us, but I think we'll be able to tackle it. I think it'll be good.
Thank you, Kristen.
Yep.
Anybody have any questions for the policy committee at this time? Thank you very much. Curriculum is in a similar boat to PTB. I don't believe anything's happened there. That will all be at our next, they believe they're all meeting at our next stated meeting to set their times. That takes us to administrative reports. Ms. Drysdale, please.
So the one piece related to my report that I was giving you was having an opportunity in the couple of days before school starts to tour the pre-K classrooms, and I think between the shiny floors that maintenance has been working on, and the painted walls, and all the new furniture, they are amazing. So if you ever, during open house, if you have little ones, be sure to go down to the pre-K areas to see the fabulous furniture and materials and books that the DOE has provided through the initiative to take on 3- and 4-year-olds for special education services. So they're just amazing. Do you have any questions about the report that I provided? I had a lot to say. It's been a busy summer.
Doesn't sound like we have any questions. Thank you very much. Spartash, Leeds, thank you.
So lots happening in Leeds. My biggest win is that our gym is no longer bright yellow. It is not colored down the center of the road. That's my biggest win of the summer.
So awesome. Is it gray?
It's Arctic white.
Ooh, okay.
It's nice and cool in there, and it doesn't hurt to walk in there. It's not the
Awesome.
line down the middle of the road.
Okay,
So,
great.
So my enrollment has changed since there. It was 183, we're up to 194 now. A lot of last minute registrations. We have had our school improvement grant. I've got substantial approval on that. It's not quite as much money as last year, but we've got the substantial approval going with those goals, and we'll hear more about that in September with my Fun Big report. And we've had our first meeting for our inclusion model school on Monday, and that went really well. Our first year is just kind of focusing on changing our leadership to be ready to do this. Any questions?
Thank you very much. Does anybody have any questions? Thank you. And congratulations on the new color.
It looks great outside too, with the new pavement and everything's cleaned up. It really looks.
Yeah.
They've been working really hard. So to tag on, don't look for the shiny floors in our pre-K wing, because we had contractors in there all summer. So poor Chip wanted to in the worst way, but could not go down there to do the floors. But the pre-K room still looks great, just not as shiny.
I do miss the boxes, the chart boxes.
And there is gonna be a sign on the big gym outside. It's the one school that does not have a nice big sign, so that is gonna come too. And then I think it'll just be like the cherry on top. Classing
Yeah.
up that.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, I fought to get rid of them for quite a while and for the middle school inherited them all, in a sense.
Peter, can I?
Oh, we had a question. I'm sorry, Crystal.
Just a question about the 2 very dead trees that are out front. My husband, this is my husband's question, sorry. Can he come over and chop them down? They really, really bother him.
I have no problem with that. I mean, Dave seems pretty.
We'll reach out to Dave about the bus trees.
I was just,
Right.
We don't want anybody chopping any trees down.
Especially near the building.
he gets so upset every time. He's like, when are they gonna take care of that? Okay, that's all.
I haven't been by in a while, so I'm not sure. Kyle, you volunteering?
Have you been in there with the, no. The, with the new air handler unit, it's like a, like.
It's made a huge difference.
Yeah.
So those days that were really, really hot
Yeah, it's
was
good.
just about when they first turned it on. And we were inside working comfortably. We walked outside and it was like getting hit in the face with it. It's a huge improvement all around. The teachers are happier. I think the kids are gonna be able to learn and focus better other than sitting and dripping. So it's a huge improvement. There's a nice big sock going through our gym that inflates and deflates to circulate the air, but
Oh,
Not
I
like
saw
so
the, I saw the
big.
sock on this, and I'm like,
it's
what
like a
the?
big tube.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll have to see, when we go out there, we'll have to look, cause I was like, wait, what is that? It's not like a big metal box like what we normally see, it's.
It's like a cloth.
Yeah.
It's cloth, so if it gets pummeled with balls, which it probably will,
Oh, yeah.
it won't hurt it. And so
Yeah, good
when the
idea.
air's not going through it, it just kind of deflates. And then when the air comes in, it fills right up and inflates.
And the roof's been fixed now too.
Yeah.
Right, so it's not leaking in.
Yeah, we don't have water pouring in. I'm hoping that we don't have to flood another copier.
Tarps.
It was, so lots of improvements, so I appreciate all of that.
Do we remember how thick that roof was?
Jeez,
It's thick, it's like a new, like.
Yeah, they ended up increasing, but I can't remember how thick it
So
was.
that, I know what
It's
I'm
noticeable.
pretty sure at at one of these early meetings, Dave does a full report, so we'll make sure that, cause like, I'll mention a couple of those things, but Dave's gonna have the details of that, so we'll make sure that he prepares
Why,
something.
that's good too.
We just can't get away from BTV no matter what.
Yeah. Every policy.
Everything's BTV.
I will just add, Doug Parker, I saw him today, I was over in Green, and he was commenting, because they have that same system that went in Leeds, and he said it's just unbelievable, the game changer.
Is this the
Because he was-
dehumidification?
Yes, and he was like not convinced, he's like, I don't know, how's that gonna make any difference, and he's just, yeah, he said it's a game changer, so.
Yes.
I just want to add that the contractors did a really good job. They were respectful, even though some of my teachers still tried to come in, but they were really good at like cleaning up after themselves. They were very polite, very respectful. It was really not too bad having them in there, but they were very good.
That's nice of them.
Very
Do we want to name drop them?
Was it Thayer?
There, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great.
All right. Ms. Gammon, turn to primary.
Welcome Elaine, your first
Yes.
report. Welcome to the
So-
big
I'm
league.
sorry, I did forget this is your first one. I do apologize. Welcome,
No,
yes.
it's okay. I've been here before, so
Yes.
it's not like it's the first time I've ever been here, but my gym already looked okay, so they decided to drill me a well. So that's been very exciting. Grizz is walking around with a water bottle to show everybody what the water looks like. It's currently being tested, so we're not quite sure yet what's gonna happen with the tanks, and Dave explained that to me. So, yeah, I got water. I'm excited about that, so, because we've had no school some days because there's no water.
We had too much of that last year, so.
So we are on a roll. We are ready to start our new year. When I wrote this, enrollment was $299. We've had more students enrolled last minute. So I'm hoping it's up over 300 now. I like nice even numbers. I'm hoping it's like maybe 300. Pre-K is rocking and rolling with that new grant, and we have lots of screening going on the first day of school. Teachers are being trained. We're going to continue the into reading tomorrow at TES. I only have 2 openings in the whole building. I'm so excited. 2 ed techs in our ASP program are open, and we have 2 subs that are willing to come in, kind of not long-term subs, but have committed to come in and be there. So super excited. I feel like we're fully staffed and ready to roll. The building looks amazing. Custodians have gone above and beyond, painting things that they didn't need to. Floors are shiny. So open house is next Monday. Yeah, so it's exciting. It's a great energy in our building right now.
That sounds awesome. Gunzi, welcome. Yes, Ashley.
Is the new speech and language teacher, is that like a speech therapist, or one of more of the subcontractors, or?
It's one of the contracts.
Yes, it is contract
Yeah.
through Boothby, and we're very excited because for the first time since I've been there, which isn't too long, we're gonna have a full-time speech and language person in the building servicing our children in person. I'm so excited, and I know her, so that makes me even more excited to get her in the building.
Yeah, we have not been able to hire our own employees, so we've gone with the contracts that we budgeted for.
And they're located in Maine?
Yes, none of them are virtual. We've been able to, we had virtual services last year, and we were able to get all in-person local so that we don't have the virtual services anymore.
I know this actually does involve you, but it begs the question, what's happening in Green and Leeds for speech therapy?
Rebecca?
So in Green, we have a contracted provider at the same company that is, service providers are working at Turner Primary, and then in Green, we have our one district hire.
So at Leeds is the contracted?
Leeds has the, sorry, they all, six
The
schools,
district.
all get jumbled together. The contracted providers are at TPS, they are at Green from the same company, Boothby Services. And then at Leeds, we have our one district hire. At the middle school and the high school, we have one provider that services those, and they are also contracted.
Are they on, like, is a contract, are they able to leave, or is there like a locked-in contract? How does that work?
I can't remember what our cancellation, like how much time is,
It's usually a 30 to 60 day
Yeah.
cancellation between either party.
so if by some miracle, somebody applied, we would have, I mean, there'd be a lead time, but we would be able to switch from a contract to an in-person.
Just wondering if there's any insight to what the preference is for some of those professionals preferring to work for a company like Boothby versus in a school district.
Yeah.
Pay, but if they were getting competitive pay, because we're paying a higher rate for the hourly contract, so the school district can afford to pay probably what their needs are. Yeah, third parties making money on top of their wage.
We are aware.
Yeah, so I'm just wondering if there's any insights to why they prefer to work
I
in that setting.
I think Rebecca probably,
So we have, and I have had direct conversations with certainly the provider at Green to talk about like being interested in working for us. Boothby does not have a non-competition agreement with them, which they shouldn't have anyway, according to labor laws in Maine. But one of the pieces that they said that's really, really helpful is that they have a speech and language team that gets together frequently, where you have speech providers from speech assistants and speech pathologists. You have augmentative communication experts, and so they come together and meet frequently and provide each other support. Our district team meets quarterly, and my assistant and I and our building coordinators and principals and administration are always accessible to them. But that was the one piece that they had said that they were worried that they wouldn't have that network to check in with if they were to come to us, because public school is a little bit different when it comes to that.
Thank you. Any other questions? Kyle?
You mentioned that your current enrollment's gonna be over 300 plus. What does that do for the, like, I know, like, the middle school is maxed, like, pretty heavily. Is it, you feel it, and I don't know if you can answer it, but like, do you see that you're getting, that school would be, if it gets any more kids, would it be maxed to the point where it stresses it too much?
It's about the same number we had last year. We were about 304. And we've actually have one less first grade classroom. So the numbers are shifting a little bit. We sent a large number up to the elementary school. So right now, we actually have an empty classroom that I'm using for a conference room, which we haven't had in years, so. But our first grade have almost, they're at 19 kids each, because there's 4 of them instead of 5 now, so.
Yeah, so it's, you still got some room.
Yes. Yeah. Not first grade, but the other grades are lower numbers for classrooms. First grade's a little high right now.
yeah.
4-year-olds, whatever it is.
No, not necessarily, not necessarily.
Some of them. What I was asking was, I was curious, Kyle, so I wonder if it included the new 4-year-olds and so forth.
Like pre-K kids who are coming for special ed services, the 3
Yeah.
and 4-year-olds, not necessarily enrolled in pre-K.
I was curious if if her number included that.
I did not include 3-year-olds, only 4-year-olds, and even the students that we're servicing with special ed and 4-year-olds are registered to us. So, and we are registering 3-year-olds that we are providing services for.
And just to clarify, we're registering 3-year-olds for special ed services only.
Yes.
Not just any 3-year-old who wants to come to pre-K.
But what I
Every
was-
time we talk about this, people are like, what, I have to teach pre-3? No, only students who have IEPs or are in the process are the 3-year-olds that we're gonna be providing services, so.
So what I was asking was that 300 number, if that included them, which would maybe kind of skew the numbers a smidgen, is what I was wondering. To answer, Kyle's question a little bit, buddy.
Because when I looked up the numbers, I searched on Power School for pre-K, K1 and 2. I did not search for 3-year-olds.
What are they following under the pre-K designation?
No, it's a separate number. Do you know how many are registered at TPS right off the top of your head, Rebecca?
They're registering like every day.
Right, right.
Yes, we are.
So I don't have, but what I do have is the information on your board report, or the ones that should be registering are the ones that are identified for
Yeah.
services. And the ones that are in referral, we're also encouraging them to register. If we find that they don't qualify for services, then we will essentially unregister them until they're 4 and ready to come to pre-K.
My estimate for 3-year-olds is 6 to 8 kids. It's not a large number, but it's a good amount to me because it's our first year. And then kind of getting our feet wet a little bit and seeing how we can provide services for them. They'll move on to be 4-year-olds and we can continue to service them, which is exciting. We've got them in our system, we know.
Thank you. Anybody else have any questions? All right. Seeing none, thank you very much. And our host for the evening, Miss Mate, how are things here?
Things are great. I want to thank the board. The last meeting, or maybe 2 meetings ago, you approved the addition of a social studies position here on a Thursday. We posted on a Friday. By Tuesday, we had several applicants. We held interviews and hired someone with many years of experience. I think it's going to be an awesome fit. We also just hired a behavioral support teacher with many years of experience, which I'm still sort of processing. I did not expect that one to happen. So we are just short, all of our ed tech positions are filled. We are missing one special ed teacher, but the incoming 7th grade IEP numbers are lower. And so we're able to sort of dissolve that, not dissolve, but spread that caseload out amongst other case managers and keep the caseloads at about 16 or 17, which is actually less than last year. So we're in really good shape.
Thank you very much. Anybody have any questions for?
Those
Jenna.
benches look very rugged, so hopefully those benches last a long time.
Mhm.
Yeah, they look
They're
good.
out now. I don't want to talk about them too much because part of his Eagle Scout project is to come and talk to you guys. I'm going to try and get it on
Yeah.
another agenda.
Ah.
Good, very good. Any other questions or comments? All right. Well, good luck to all of you as the school year starts. I know you're all excited.
Thanks.
Those of us with kids in the district still
also
are very excited
excited.
to be sending them to you. Those of us who no longer wish they still were with us, but anyways. All right, Assistant Superintendent Skills.
Yeah, so I wanted to highlight a few areas. First of all, professional development. On August 19th, we had our new teacher orientation day, and I was super excited that, Elaine, a former coach, joined 2 current coaches, Amy Musso and Carolyn Panato, to lead some training on interreading. It was an introductory session. Tomorrow we have our trainer that we've worked with last year coming in from Florida, and she's going to work with teachers on year 2 implementation, as well as it will be more grade specific. They're going to focus on small groups, and we also have a trainer coming in to help the teachers learn even more about illustrative math. The good majority of our teachers, administrators, and coaches have already been through an introductory training, so that is happening at TES tomorrow with, thanks to Denise and her crew that have stepped in while Dave Roberts has been out a bit. We are having a taco bar, so very excited about that. And Jana, hopefully your teachers won't mind the walk down the hill to get the taco bar as well. Curriculum work this summer, because the board supported the funds that were in the budget, we were able to meet for the ELA Curriculum Writing Committee. We met twice with K-12 range of teachers. They started the work of selecting essential skills for our students from both the standards and performance indicators. Then an additional meeting was held for a day where the elementary teachers came together from that team, and we together looked at the essential skills that were picked for elementary and then looked at the assessments that Interreading offers, because we don't want to be not assessing an essential skill. So that was mind-boggling work. Kudos to the teachers. And tomorrow, all the elementary teachers will have an opportunity to give feedback on both the essential skills for ELA and the assessments that we've selected. And once the school year gets underway, I'm going to start work with a team of teachers on the science standards. So those two areas will be my focus. And I have a third focus area in the wings that I'm not going to say because I don't want Carrie to kick me right now. And then grant updates, I wanted to give you updates on that. So we have received notification that our final amount is $516,107.04. I had to resubmit. I was in the process of submitting it. I had to resubmit for the second time with Title 2 and 4 added in. That is more money than last year. I think we really, our Title 1 funds will really benefit Green and Lead, so we're excited about that. And there will be a small amount, it will be less than last year, but there will be a small amount of professional development. I think we're looking at right around 20,000 for each of the schools, so that will be exciting as well. So when I hear back on the grant applications, I'm gonna meet with the principals, make sure there's nothing else they want me to change. I resubmitted the second time really quickly because I want to get substantial approval so we can start using the money. So that's the update that I have.
Thank you. Any questions for Jules? Seeing none? Thank you. Do you?
Yeah, because mine will take a little bit of time,
Okay.
so.
Are they, you also, okay. So, can I have a motion to move item 10.2 to our current time slot?
So moved.
Crystal? We have a second by Bree. All those in favor? All right, thank you. It was unanimous, I do believe. We will be adjourning to, we're just down the hall on the left.
Wait, so that was a motion to go into executive session?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh,
That's
I
what-
heard that the
I
motion
heard it
was
was
to move
it.
the
Oh,
agenda
was.
item.
Sorry, you're right, you're right,
Okay.
you're right, you're
I
right.
was like, wait, what are we
We're just
doing?
making it, we're just jumping.
Make a motion to go into
Thank you.
executive session at this
Second?
time. I'll second.
Okay, same,
Crystal, second.
reverse of that though.
Okay, got it.
Okay, you got it? All those in favor of going into executive?
Thank you.
Unanimous again.
Thank you.
All right, we're back into open session now. Do we have a motion?
Yes, we have a motion. Do you have a motion?
Kyle, she has the
No,
official
you
motion.
not, Kyle.
I was second.
Crystal's got the motion. Let's be clear. I
Okay, a
have one,
motion
three, I'll give it to
pursuant, sorry, to 20-A MRSA Section 1001-9 to readmit this student under consideration on the grounds that the behavior in question is not likely to recur.
Do we have a second, Kyle?
Yes.
Thank you. All right, all those, I guess, yeah, any discussion? No? All those in favor?
Unanimous?
Unanimous. All those opposed?
So
All right,
Evan will tell.
yes, he's already on
Thank
the
you.
move.
Okay, thank you, thank you.
All right,
Absolutely.
after that, we are now to hear from the superintendent.
Okay. So, a couple things. One, this is when I annually review for you my goals for the upcoming year. I know you're dying to hear what I have on my plate for priorities, so I'm going to pass those out.
Thank you.
I'm attaching the ones I did last year and a short reflection on them, just so you've got them. So the front page is for this year. The second page is last year, sort of just as a review of the things that that I focused on. You can read that at your leisure. So for this year, focusing on the use of data. So we have gotten better and better at that, but the aha moment over the summer was that we need a team, because right now we all work to collect data, but then I'm the one who's putting it all together, and maybe I'm not as awesome as I should be. Need a wider group to then make it become part of a practice within the buildings on a more regular basis. So we're going to put together a team. That'll be something that I take on and work on developing that. We're going to continue and finish, finally, the emergency plan in terms of safe schools, emergency plan revisions, and the final reunification. The high school plan is being worked on. I don't know if I've said this to you guys or not, we've identified Central Maine Community College as the reunification place for the high school. That's not a confidential thing. We will let families know for each school where the reunification location is. So we've met with Central Maine Community College a couple times. Tyler and I did the initial reach out to a couple of different locations in the Lewiston, Auburn area, and Scott Walker, Watkins, who's in charge of safety at Central Maine, was willing to meet with us. So Tyler and I did the initial meeting, and then Tyler, myself, Eben, and Derek, and Heidi, and Ryan all did a second meeting to sort of talk through what it looked like. So we're in the process of putting those plans in place and then doing a walkthrough drill with the full staff at some point this fall. Huge undertaking that I'm feeling really good about getting to the end of. Curriculum, so my job is to constantly support that process. We've got implementation of math materials this year. Report cards is like a constant conversation. I've joined a couple of meetings as a person who's got a high school brain to sort of help with that discussion between Teresa's elementary brain and my high school brain. We make one brain, which is helpful. And finally getting towards that grading and parent communication and grading guides. Also supporting the work with special ed and the buildings in terms of interventions. I'll talk a little bit about that during the strategic plan review. We have early release starting this year. Part of the conversation, I've met with every leadership team and principal around what their plans will be, so that my job will be to sort of be following that, observe that, see how it's being used, make sure that the commitment we've made to families, which is you're going to have your kid an hour earlier on Wednesdays because this work is really essential, so my job is to make sure that it's really important that people are doing it and taking it seriously. And then finally, around capital improvement planning, we've made a lot of progress, and so we've got a couple decisions that we'll need to make this year that I will be working with that committee and the full board in addition to staff to figure out our next steps. So that is the bulk of my work this year in terms of my goals.
Does anybody have any questions
on my goals?
I do have one.
Go.
Southern Maine Community College.
Central Maine.
Central Maine Community College.
Yep, yep.
I question that as our go-to safe spot for the high school. I'm curious what our other options were.
So it's not the go-to safe spot. It is if we have to evacuate the campus and we need to reunify the kids with their families.
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah,
Well,
okay. Yeah.
So, and when you say the campus, would that be?
The high school.
So just the high school, not the middle school? Middle school goes to the high school?
Correct.
We're putting all our kids, when that's in operation, the college will be in operation.
Yep.
So we're kind of throwing all our kids into an existing.
Yep.
I was curious if there was potentially, I don't know, I question that as the location.
Yep.
I'm curious what was behind it.
Yep, so one, that will be the case for all the other schools reunifying at the high school. Like the high school will have kids there, right?
But they were our kids under our control, that was the difference in my mind.
So there is no location where the entire high school can be together. So the calculation was, do we split the high school into two spots and say like, if your kid is a 9th or 10th grader, you're going to go to this location. If your kid, and then what happens if the kid doesn't go to that location, and in fact they're at the other one, and we don't really, and then we think we've got a missing kid, and then parents are freaking out, right? We're freaking out. So talking all of that through, I was very uncomfortable, and I think Eben, we would have done it if we had not been able to find any location that would have worked with us. But honestly, I kind of feel like Central Maine's been awesome. Scott Watkins, like, they have a whole safety team there. Like, I fully believe that if we have to send all of our kids there, that we will have their entire staff supporting us. And so, because the high school is providing that service to all the other all the other schools for reunification, so who's gonna help them? So we're gonna have to pull staff from other schools to help with that. But to have their public safety officers helping us is huge. It's just like, I find it very comforting. Tyler has a really good working relationship with Scott Watkins from prior career pieces. And Scott's been very, very receptive with the VP. Like, I've met with the president of Central Maine. Like, this has been a very go up the chain. Everybody has blessed this. So I feel really confident that we can get them all down there. It's 15 minutes, right? It's straight, like, it's a straight shot. We don't have to get through Central Street, we don't have to go anywhere else. And it'll be easy for families to get to. Green, the people coming from Green are gonna be coming from, the bridge. So as opposed to putting multiple groups of kids in multiple locations, the opportunity for us to lose track of a kid, for families to be in the wrong place, for the messaging to be confusing so that it just creates more panic, just did not seem to be worth it to try and keep them within the community. So that is all the reasons why we're not gonna try and keep them in the community. There's 550 kids, probably another 100 adults if you include, like, if we really are evacuating, it's gonna be all the food service, it's gonna be all the transportation people who happen to be in there, right? Their office just happens to be there. So there's really not another reasonable.
Well, I couldn't think of a place in town, any of the 3 towns that could.
Yeah, I mean, make sure that we have internet service.
Well, you have decosters, the old decosters. They're big
So that's why, and honestly, it ends up, like, I reached out to a couple other locations in Lewiston, Auburn, and I feel better about the fact that CM said yes, because they've got their public safety there. We're not gonna have to need the Auburn Police Department, which I'm sure would be helpful to us, but this is a school public safety office, so I think they will be really, really helpful. So.
And just out of curiosity, do you have any idea where EL or Lewiston uses? Or do they even have this plan? They must have this plan, I'm guessing. Do they have I was just curious what they live in the community, I'm curious where they would live.
I can't speak for them, I don't know. I think there are, CM, their agreement is not the call say, Norwood Savings Bank agreement. Yeah.
Well, that was the first one that actually came to my mind.
Yes.
Because just the kids was making me question all the college kids there.
Yep.
Started having that
I
intermix.
feel that didn't work. There was not a partnership there, which is totally fine.
Okay.
And I actually feel better about the CM piece.
Okay.
Because there's staff there that I know will be helping us.
Works for me, answer my.
Yeah.
Didn't mean that anybody else have any, Kyle?
Is there a fee that goes along with that? Or?
No. And as it's not, if we get a bomb threat, we're not going down for a bomb threat, right? Like, Eben knows how to deal with that. Like, those are things, this would be only if a thing happened where we really can't, like, the place is on fire or some critical violent incident, but it would be, a once in 100-year, hopefully, thing that occurs is the only reason we would be doing this.
And we'd be just shuttling buses at that.
Yep, it's, and Eben, Tyler, myself, and Amanda Gray, the assistant principal here, did a FEMA training last year that talked a lot about reunification, and one of the questions the trainer said was like, well, how many kids can you fit on a bus? So we're all like doing the calculations. He goes, no, as many as you can squeeze in there. So it's the kind of thing when you're just getting kids gone, you're just shoving them on, like, get them all out, right? The goal is to just get them away. So it helped our mindset in terms of thinking about how this process would work.
Thank you.
Okay, so just a couple updates on facilities. So wastewater treatment plant. So they're working on the sidewalk. It was supposed to be done last week. They put down the curb on Monday. I don't know, the curb was bad. They tore it all up on Tuesday. They relayed it on Wednesday. Hopefully tomorrow it's gonna be paved. It's like everything, right? So hopefully we will not have massive traffic next week. We'll see. You already got the update leads in green, the ventilation. I'll make sure that Dave participates in a board meeting to give more updates on all of that. Transportation, We have, all of our bus runs are operating. We have 2 bus driver positions open. 1, we are filling with the contract. I think we talked in the spring, Ride Source is a company that we've been working with. They are contracted to do 1 run. But again, like all contracts, if we find ourselves with enough bus drivers and we don't need that contract anymore, there's a way for us to get out of that contract with a certain amount of notice. And then the second opening is a floater position. Now, some hot off the press, we finally had 1 employee complete the full driver training program and get her bus license today. She passed the test today. So we've got somebody coming on board and 2 potential more people to start the training program. And we did not have any bus drivers resign over the summer, as
There you
opposed
go.
to last year, if you remember, it was like on the last minute. So things are settling down.
Now, if they pass our training course, do they have to work for us for a year?
So we have that agreement in place, that's the expectation.
Waiting for you to say she just got a job in Lewiston or
No.
something. So-
She wants to work here, it's better here.
Good.
And then in terms of hiring, so last year at this time, we had 22 ed tech openings. I am here to tell you we only have 9.
Yeah.
Someday I'll be able to say we have 0, but we have 9. Last year, I went back to my notes, last year it's 22. We do have 4 teacher openings, however. So 6th grade at Green, Doug does have a long-term sub in place and the potential for doing some interviews. Special education at TES. We do have a staff member working on their certification, so we're going to be using them as long-term sub scenario. So there's a person identified for that position, but they're not on a teacher contract yet. You heard Jana talk about the middle school special ed. That position's probably just not going to get filled this year. And then music for Green and Leeds. So we actually might have an interview coming up, but who knows how that, but we do have a plan and long-term sub scenario at both schools. So 1 person doing at Green 3 days a week and 1 person doing it at Leeds. And I just want to be clear, over the summer we reorganized music. So we have 1 teacher we've hired who's going to do band across the 3 elementary schools that are upper grades. So Leeds, TES, and Green. So we will have that program. And we do have a full-time teacher teaching classroom music and vocal music at TPS, TES. So this is the last position we need. So it was a disaster in early July. We were sweating and freaking out, and we're in a better place. I wanted to just let people know that all of our FOA requests are now on the website for people, if people want to see them. I started getting requests for other people's FOAs, so I just decided it was time to just give them all to the community. So they are now on the website. And I'm going to go through the consent agenda, but before that, want to confirm that people can attend the board workshop on September 11th to go over the self-assessment.
Anybody have any issues with the September 11th?
Martha asked me to do this, and then I said to Jenny, help me remember to ask. To say.
I asked about
Jenny wanted to know too,
I
so
did.
I figured we'd just ask
I
her.
see the phones coming out. Look at them go.
So it's a Thursday,
What
Thought I
time?
saw a
September,
serious
it will
one
be
on
at
Christmas
6
World.
o'clock.
Well, we're talking about that, can I ask a question about your report? The road, the divots, like that?
They're getting paved.
Okay.
Yeah, I know.
I was like,
I was
we're
like,
gonna
why
have
did
it.
they put pavement just for that? My understanding in an email
Like
today.
the ones where you can like.
I know.
Get some air?
Launch.
Yes.
Yeah, my understanding is they are getting filled in.
Okay.
I do not know why they were
I
done
was like,
that
maybe
way.
we're keeping them for speed, like, I mean, it does
No.
slow people
No.
down.
No.
High school kids?
No.
They'd love that.
No, it's not part of the plan.
Just making, I was just asking,
Does everybody
How are people
is everybody else fine for the
It's a
11th?
Thursday, so my Thursdays are.
I'm
all
seeing all
except
thumbs
for
up and
school.
smiles, all excited.
Actually, maybe,
Maybe?
Yeah.
not likely.
Oh,
Hopefully not. I might-
Hopefully not. If she's here,
if
she's
she's
gonna
here,
be super
she's
mad
not
about
gonna
it.
be happy.
Okay.
Where is that? Tell me.
We probably will do it here. We typically, we'll do that, typically we've done those workshops here. This is just an easy space to set up.
And what time?
6 o'clock.
Okay, perfect.
Okay. So 6 o'clock, I will make sure that we send a confirmation with you.
When we do the budget,
Yeah, I've selected the high school for that.
no, but when
Oh.
we do the budget,
Yeah.
this room needs 2 more desks, 2 more tables. Then it'd be much more comfortable for us. Just saying,
Or
maybe
we're gonna
one.
do it at the high school.
Yeah, but you guys wanted one location.
I am talking for this library to get one more of these.
Oh,
I feel bad for Kyle.
I don't think it's in the
He's
budget.
fine, he's good, he's good.
I love small chairs,
Kids that just-
small tables.
Okay, let me go through the consent agenda. We can do this. So we have a bunch of teacher nominations for you, so I'm just gonna walk through for you. Megan Laverdiere, helping Gabby understand Maine speak. She is going to be at Turner Primary School. Comes with 3 years of experience at Farwell, so super excited about that. We have Jennifer Paget, and let me just tell you a fun little story about Jennifer Paget. When I had my second child, it was right after I'd left Leavitt, I was at Poland Regional High School, and I was gonna be out on maternity leave. Jennifer Paget was my long-term sub. So I've known her a very long time, and she was pregnant and had a kid right after. So Jenny Paget comes to us with loads of experience, both in schools as well as in lots of literacy, doing trainings all across the country as the instructional coach at Turner Primary School. So super excited about that. Elizabeth Nichols Goodliff comes to us with lots of experience as music teacher. She will be the instrumental teaching band in all 3 buildings, all TES, Leeds, and Green. We have Adam Corvo, art teacher. Adam is coming to us from St. Dom's, so lucky for us, too bad for St. Dom's. Lots of experience teaching. He seems like a really nice guy with lots of experience in art, doing art for himself, but also as a teacher. So very excited about having Adam join at TPS and TES. Adam Scarpone, so we got the Adams in the VPA world of elementary school. Adam Scarpone used to work with Kristen Conway when she was in Maranacook. So, and he very much really enjoyed working with her. So he's excited to come here and work. He was in Maranacook, and so we were able to snag him here, which is exciting. He has lots of energy. I'm super, super excited about that. Michelle DeBlois, thank you.
I thought you were coaching the.
I know, that's really, really obnoxious that I just did that. She is a ELA teacher here at the middle school. Has lots of experience, and very lucky to have her. Michelle's current supervisor describes her as awesome. I met her and she's great too. Renata Nikki Pelletier is what she goes by. She is the social studies teacher we were able to snag from Lewiston. She actually lives in Turner, so it's super exciting to have her here, 10 years of experience. Paige Hussey, she will be teaching at Green, grade 4. She is coming from Auburn, right? Yeah. Just got her, she has a bachelor's from UNE. So very exciting. She's a new teacher with lots of support over at Green. Lee Smith, our most recent hire, she is going to be the instructional coach at Green. She's just kind of a gem that's landed in our lap. Lots of teaching experience. Recently living in Colorado, but has moved home to be near her mom, who is elderly, and to our good luck, she is here with lots of experience and will make a really excellent coach there.
And her mom worked in this district.
Oh yes, I forgot about that.
And
Her
she went
mom
to
was a
school in
teacher
this
here.
district.
Yeah, but she's been gone forever.
She's back.
And then Sam Van Tynen is the BSP teacher, case manager at the middle school. We hired him maybe 2 days ago. Super excited. He actually has a lot of experience, comes with great recommendations. So we're really excited to be able to pick him up. And then the last thing on the consent agenda is an updated job description. So if you recall, we increased the hours for the administrative assistant to Teresa to add grant program coordinator to that title, and so this includes those items that she will be picking up as a grant coordinator and writer. So we've combined that job description and added some responsibilities, and that is what I've got.
Okay. Anybody have any questions for Carrie's report?
It's definitely clear on how much weight to lift in the job description as well, so that's.
Okay. Any other questions or comments? All right, that being said, we're now going to move to,
I make a motion to accept the consent agenda.
we aren't there yet. We're good though. We're now going to number 8, the consent agenda. Does anybody wish to remove any items from the consent agenda? That was under Carrie's report where she talks about
Got it.
what's gonna come in the consent
That's
agenda.
what move us along.
So we do have to follow us,
Yeah,
some sort of.
I got it, sorry. I'll
Okay.
save it for when you actually go through all of them again.
Yeah, unfortunately, I do have to read them all. That is the rule, but I might look that up. All right, so does anybody wish to remove any of the items to discuss them in the consent agenda? All right, seeing none. 8.1, instructional nominations to be acted upon collectively after nominations have been read by the superintendent, which has just happened. 8.1.1, Turner Primary School primary teacher assigned to grade 2. 8.1.2, Turner Primary School instructional coach. 8.1.3, district-wide elementary instrumental music teacher. 8.1.4, Turner Elementary School, Turner Primary Art teacher. 8.1.5, Turner Elementary School, Turner Primary School music choral teacher. 8.1.6, Tripp Middle School ELA teacher. 8.1.7, Tripp Middle School social studies teacher. 8.1.8, Green Central School elementary teacher assigned to grade 4. 8.1.9, Green Central School instructional coach. And 8.1.10, Tripp Middle School special education teacher, BSP. As well as item 8.2, a review and adoption of the superintendent recommendation of job descriptions. 8.2.1, administrative assistant to the assistant superintendent / grant program coordinator. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Thank you. All those in favor? I believe it's unanimous. All those opposed? I believe it's unanimous. Jen, you voted, right?
I did.
Okay. All right, that takes us to old business. I do not believe we have any old business that I am aware of. Does anybody have any? Not seeing any. So it takes us to new business, which is 10.1, a presentation by the superintendent of the schools on strategic plan.
So if you guys want to turn around, sorry, I don't know, I need to be able to put it so people can see, so. Make yourselves comfortable. So you have the copy of the presentation in your packet and then a copy of the full strategic plan. What I'm gonna do, so last year, if you remember, I went through the entire plan. It was a lot. So this year, what I decided in consulting with Teresa, sort of picking smaller parts to just sort of like discuss things to pull out that we thought were interesting or to highlight, but then if you want to talk about specific things that are in here that I don't talk about, or you want more information, then we can go, go to those pages. Okay. So, curious, would like some feedback based on sort of the difference between last year and this year. Okay. So the process of this, just a reminder. So the administrative team, Teresa and I, spend the summer pulling with Jason Breton, who's our database manager. He does a great job supporting and helping gather all of the data that we have been wanting to look at over the years. And then when we have our administrative team meeting in the summer, it's typically like the last 2 days of July, 2 days, we're in here, we pull all that data out, we pull the strategic plan out, we look at what we said we were gonna do, what we actually did, what does the data show, where are we with this? So what I'm talking about in the update is the result of that work with that full team of people. So, going through, I'm going in the order of the goals, how they show up in the strategic plan. So the very first goal that we have is that students will experience increasingly positive, safe, supportive learning environment. So there's a bunch of goals that are listed in there, and then what we do is sort of update. What progress did we make last year? What are we going to focus on this coming year? So progress we made last year. One of the big goals last year was to create a leadership team for the integrated multi-team systems of support. That's lots of education speak for the inclusion work we've been doing, to how do we provide support to students who are struggling, how do we ensure that our students who have disabilities have access to the best curriculum and instruction that we can provide. So we have that leadership team met multiple times, did a data review, made goals that we are going to look at for this year. So for this year, we are going to focus on developing and effectively applying, so that we got to work on that language there, Teresa, Develop and effectively apply, oh no, it does make sense, sorry. Develop and effectively apply a broad range of academic interventions with an emphasis on math and ELA, in particular at the elementary level, although the middle school as well with new math curriculum. And continue to improve the implementation of the attendance protocol. We do keep getting better and better at chronic absenteeism, but we know we can do better, and we know we can do better. So the data that I've pulled for you, I'm going to talk about this a little bit, and all these charts are in the full report, right? Two things. So one, this is the percent of our kids with IEPs who spend 80% of their time in general education. So the ideal is 80-80. So think about the 80-80. 80% of our kids spend 80% of our kids with disabilities spend 80% of their time in general education. That's what we're hoping for. Like, and that's not us making that up. Like, that's a research-based national sort of like goal. 23-24, we were at 48%. We made a little bit of progress last year. We're at 50.6%, right? So it's better. It's not awesome, but we're just starting in this process. So this number will get updated when we do the October 1 count, which is sort of like the official count of who's in your district, how many kids. That number is super important for the money we get from the state for our subsidy. So I think we'll know more then, because any kids' IEPs who changed last year that may have given them more opportunity in general education would have been reflected after October 1st. So this is the first time we've started to really look at that number and track it. The second chart is the number of kids who were referred for special ed versus the number who actually qualified in that process. So there's two interesting things here. One, the good news is that uptick of kids qualifying for special ed has like leveled off. It's not dropping yet, but it's not getting worse, right? Like more and more kids disabled. So we're at 3 years in a row, about 40 kids qualifying. But the number of referrals keeps going up, which in my mind tells me that teachers are still seeing kids struggle, that they don't maybe have enough tools in the toolbox to address that, but it's not a disability, according to how we determine that, right? So that gap, I think, speaks to the need to continue to work on interventions, curriculum, instruction, all those things to try and deal with what we know is still this ongoing concern around how kids are doing. So it's like good news and not good news all at the same time. Ashley?
Are there certain types of IEPs that this applies to more than others, or certain IEP types are out of the classroom more so?
It really is kid specific. Every single IEP is done as a team. The law requires that it gets done as a team. So it depends on the complexities of the student's disabilities. It depends on, like for some students, they may only qualify for speech and language, which means they're probably not out of their classroom very much. Other kids may have multiple disabilities that may make the percentage of their time in the general education setting a little bit different. So it really is kid by kid by kid. Okay? This is just our the suspension rate. So just sticking with this sort of emphasis we have on trying to improve the outcomes for our students with disabilities. This is like the third year in a row where we have decreased the percent of students with disabilities who've been suspended, right? We hit a high point, I mean, that is a lot of kids being suspended. 1/4 of our students with disabilities was suspended in 21-22. Like that number is, and there's lots of reasons for that, because it was also a huge just general suspension. That was post-pandemic craziness. I was a principal, it was nuts. But we have been able to level off the total suspensions and 3 years in a row bring that number down. So we're gonna keep doing what we're doing and double down more on the PBIS stuff we've been doing that's been working, as well as making sure we have plans for kids with behavior issues. So this is a positive thing that we're continuing to move in the right direction. Okay, so the next set of goals are around instruction. Our students will regularly experience collaborative experiential instructional practices as they engage in and demonstrate their learning. So big progress last year was the implementation of reading instruction materials in K-5. This year, we're focusing on continuing to build those common assessments. We have a start of it that you can see in the strategic plan. We do have a start on this. This is an incredibly complex task, I will just say that, but we made progress last year. Continue with the inter-reading. We're going to add 6th grade. Continue with the training at the primary level in particular to make sure that we really are getting that right, and then implementing new math materials in grades 3 through 8. So the data doesn't always directly match. Here's why this chronic absenteeism. We're kind of the mindset that if things are really good at school, kids want to be there. So that's sort of why this attendance data shows up here. So we are making progress. It's still too high. We still have 18% of our kids who are chronically absent, but it has gone down each year again over the course of 3 years. But I think I think all of us know that we can get lower, so we need to double down on that process. We're below the state average. I don't have the state average now. Those numbers tend to come out in January once they collect the data from all the schools. Curriculum, huge progress last year. So every student will participate in a rigorous education program that provides a variety of curricular, extracurricular offerings that match interests and needs. So we have last year, we have a district development curriculum protocol in place. We had 3 content areas go through that protocol and come to you for approval for what those essential standards will be. And we created a process for the use of the stipend pool. If you recall, one of the things you all wanted was more opportunities, especially at the elementary schools, for kids to participate in clubs and activities. So we've got that amount. We've got $7,000 in the budget for that purpose. This year, our focus is around ELA and science curriculum, the common assessment system, which I'm hopeful the data team will be able to help with that, and continuing to expand opportunities for our kids. So the piece of data that I pulled out is just, and I don't know why it's so fuzzy, so I apologize. It's just the new clubs we added at the elementary level. So those that are in bold, we added last year. I think we did get a slow start because we had to negotiate stipends and things just got delayed. However, we were able to add a couple of activities at each elementary school. So, and the principals were like on this. They wanted to get that done, and they had staff members who were interested. So we were able to get some things going that weren't in place before.
Do we have any sort of increase at the middle school or high school?
Increased activities?
For for any other?
So the only number we've been tracking there has been athletic participation.
Because that was one of the areas that I know I had concern of, was middle school and high school options for non-athletes.
Yes, so that has not been, it's difficult to track the data on that, but we can make sure that we have that list updated. It's because there aren't rosters, it's just not as simple as like a sports roster they have to submit, it's very clear. So it's been difficult to track that information. So we just have to get some better processes in place. Okay, staff. This is all about recruiting and retaining highly qualified staff. Make sure we've got things in place so that we can get people and keep people. So last year the goal was to get early release put in place. We have the lowest staff turnover we've had in 5 years. And instructional coaches increased the amount of time they spent with colleagues in instructional coaching cycles. Last year, I reported to you that they had engaged in 44. This past year was 68, and over 31 professional development sessions, with a lot of that having to do with the new reading program at the elementary level. So this year, we are working on the professional development that's occurring during early release, as well as the professional development that will primarily be led by coaches for the second year of reading and the introduction of math. So those really are the professional development goals there.
Would 68 coaching cycles mean 68 different teachers? Or how does that work? So
I'm trying to remember how I counted. I think I counted, if a teacher did it twice, I only counted them once.
Those are individual ones, so there were more than that.
Yeah. So some teachers might have done 2 cycles with them. But yeah, 68 individual.
And there were only 5 coaches last year, and one was in her training year.
Right. We did not have one in the middle school. Right.
So do we know well, I'm just curious, how many teachers how many teachers do our coaches work with in the course of a year?
So we'd have to
So
look
that'd be
at.
my question,
So it
coaching
was
cycles.
68 over the whole district. I think there's 180 teachers, classroom teachers, although a nurse, there was one nurse that did a cycle, did some work with a coach. Some of the coaches did a lot of work with ed techs as well. So this didn't even, I don't think this even included ed techs because they would have been in public groups. So it's individual coaching sessions.
Right, and those professional development sessions would have had multiple teachers in them?
So it would have been at a staff meeting, on a
Yeah.
workshop day. So this is just unfilled districts, unfilled positions in the district, and whether or not they're special ed. Special ed's been our biggest difficulty. So the worst year was when we had 4 openings, but we've been able to get ourselves down to 3 or 4. 4 is higher than I would want, but they're hard to fill positions. But in terms of turnover, 21. So we had more than 21 people leave, but some of them retired. So I didn't really count them, right? They're retirements, or they're positions that were open because somebody shifted. Elaine Gammon went from a teacher to a principal, right? So that's not losing somebody. That's sort of like retaining them and moving them up. So it's the lowest number we've had of people who just left the district in the last couple of years. So feel really good about that. Learning outcomes. So we will have a shared set of outcomes about what our students are expected to learn and how we measure their progress. So we now have an annual timeline for reviewing that data. Last year was the first time we did this presentation here, and we have a report, all that data is in there. It's a lot, but honestly, I think it helps to keep us honest because we have to go back to it. We published it, now we've got to update it, we've got to see how we're making progress. So for this year, we need building level timelines for data review. We have PLC structures that need revision so that they are focused more on data use and student learning. We need to create a district data team to help with that process. We need to work on our second year of trying to make sure we have grading guides for all grade levels. We've got them at the high school and the middle school. We do not have them at the elementary school, and parent guides. Continue the development of the internal assessment system, and then updating report cards. You would think that updating report cards would be a very simple task, and you would be wrong. It is very complex, and it has to happen within a certain timeline. Like, we cannot make changes to the report card when school starts. As soon as teachers put stuff into a grade book, like, that report card's getting fed data. So it's sort of like the timeline for getting it done is tight, and it's over the summer. So I think we have to think about how we're going to do that sort of way further ahead than what we did this year. So we're able to update health and PE.
Health and PE.
And BPA, just health and PE.
I haven't heard back from health and PE, I'm confident.
Yeah. So what we
That's
learned in
what-
these conversations is that different grade levels have different understandings, high school, middle school, elementary. We may have different understandings building to building. So it's uncovering a lot of assumptions and a lot of practices that aren't necessarily bad, they're just not consistent. So those are things, it doesn't mean the report card is meaningless. The report card is useful information. It provides parents with an opportunity to see how their kids are doing. Teachers are reporting accurately. We're not consistent around that, and that's what we need to work on. So, data. The only one I'm going to highlight today is reading, and just because we spent so much time on reading last year, but you've got the rest of it in the report. So, this is what our reading MEA, this is from the MEA, the reading data, and I've got it, yeah. So, it's not given to students below 3rd grade, and it's not given to 9th grade, it's only given to 10th graders in the high school. So grades 3 through 8 and 10th grade. So last year, we had some gaps, especially the green is our data, sort of the average of kids who are meeting or exceeding, or the percent of kids who are meeting or exceeding versus the state data, which is the blue. So it's not dramatically different. What I would say, the observation is that I feel like it's smoothed out a little bit in relation to the state average. We would like to see it higher, but it's the first year of that reading program, and all the research around implementing new reading materials indicates that you don't necessarily see that initial bump in that first year, so we're not surprised. But it is we don't have a huge gap. Like this group of third graders, if you look at them as fourth graders, so 45% of the kids were meeting or exceeding in third grade, and when they went to fourth grade, 56% of them. So if you look at a cohort, they have made significant progress. Okay? Here's the part that we got really excited about, that we're hopeful that it will start to play out in these scores, is when we look at the growth data. So this is percentage of kids who've met their growth goals. So it's not achievement, not necessarily grade level, but if they started here in the fall, did they grow the way they should have with good instruction and good reading materials? Did they grow the way they should have? So this is 3 years comparison. So this dark green is what they just did. And so every single grade level almost doubled the percent of kids who met or exceeded their growth goal. Like, we were shocked at that number. And then if you pull out the kids who have disabilities in elementary level, in some cases they tripled their growth. So this gives us a lot of hope that we actually made some significant progress that will start to pay off in terms of just overall achievement in general. This was like a really big deal. Yeah, sorry, Kai.
When you say pull out, you know, the stats aren't in with that.
This is all the kids, and then this is just that subgroup. This is everybody. So those kids are in this number.
Okay.
And then if I just pull out that subgroup of kids, because if you don't pay attention to those subgroups, you can lose track of whether or not they're actually gaining the way you want them to, right? You got to pay attention to those subgroups. And that's a large group of our kids. That's 20% of our kids are represented in these numbers. So the fact that we saw that significant growth, both just from our kids in general, and then that subgroup of kids, was very, very exciting. So as soon as I made this chart, like I emailed it to principals, like, share this with your teachers. This is incredible. So very, very excited about that.
Carrie?
Yeah.
I'm gonna just ask a quick question.
Yeah.
Clarify. Why does it look so different with the MEA? Like,
Yeah.
Is
It's
it just
measuring
because
two
it's just
different
totally
things.
different
This
tests?
is not achievement. This is comparing the kid to themselves.
Okay.
So I take the test in fall, and I'm making numbers up here, right, Tracy? You probably could do, but let's just pretend out of 100. In the fall, I get a 50, and in the spring, I get a 70. The NWA, because they give this test all over the country to hundreds of thousands of kids, based on your profile, they can make a guess. Like, you should grow this much. If you get good instruction and, like, you know, you have good materials in front of you, you should grow this much, because we know that from all these kids we've tested. So if they don't make their growth goal, well, then something happened, right? Maybe you didn't get the best instruction. Maybe you had 3 different teachers in a year because they couldn't keep up, right? Like something, or maybe the instruction materials you got aren't as great, right? So we did something different last year that got that amount of growth in each grade level. It's like we did an intervention, and oh my God, something actually happened because of it.
really
Because
awesome.
you don't always see that, right? So clear evidence that we made progress, even though in the first year of implementing new reading materials, like teachers will tell you, holy cow, super stressful, very, very difficult. Like there was lots of turmoil in the fall. Things started to settle down by the winter, but it was a lot of turmoil in the fall in terms of how difficult that is for teachers to do. So, super excited about that. Communication. So I don't think I have any data for this one, but we completed last year a crisis communication plan. That was something we used title funds for to contract out. We spent time training principals on that this summer. Developed common expectations for home and school communication so that every school is increasing the amount of communication they're providing. And then lots of presentations and communication around the inclusion goals that we have. This year we're really focusing on the big change. So we have been using Messenger for all of our mass notifications. We are switching to a software called Bright Arrow, virtually the same price, but has lots more capability. It's going to take us time to get up to speed. But I'll just give you one example. If your kid's in the high school, they probably end up in a group chat with their coach because they got to communicate. And we're hopeful that we'll be able to get out of like personal cell phones being that group chat thing and moving them towards this system that has capability around that. It's gonna take some time, but the expectation will be that all that communication will happen through the formal district communication software. But we'll still have texting. We gotta get everybody opted into texting again and all that stuff. School environment, lots of things happening in this. So as I talked about, reunification drills, 5 of 6 got done last year. We do have that capital improvement plan in place that is sort of a guide for right now. We have a plan for utilizing reserve funds. We did that very specifically last year during the budget process. We were able to finally name projects that money was gonna be used for. I think we made a lot, for those of you who came to the Tri-Town meeting in March with the selectmen, I think we made a huge amount of progress in trust with them when we could actually name projects that were going to be paid for out of reserve account. So it's not just money that we're holding on to and not giving back to people. We've made a lot of progress with student behavior on the buses. We've retained our bus drivers and student behavior is reduced, and we developed the bus driver training program. So for this coming year, we're gonna finalize reunification for the high school. We're gonna make sure that all families get the communication around what those plans are. The elementary plans should go out in the fall as part of the new like welcome back to school stuff. We need a long-term plan in terms of what we're gonna do with projects we can't fund through the budget or through capital improvements, or sorry, through reserve funds, and then continue to provide that bus driver training to hopefully find ourselves very soon completely, fully staffed and not having to contract out a bunch of stuff. So it's fuzzy on this, but you have in the complete plan. This is sort of that list that we made, that we shared with you, that had all these projects that we had sort of like identified. Gabby, Dave and I brought this draft to PTB. And what I've just done is if it has a green check mark, we've figured out we've got funding for it, either through the budget or the reserve account. And if it's bold, it's done. So that's a lot of green check marks. So we got some big things that we haven't dealt with yet, but I think that's really this year's goal, is to figure out, and maybe it's like, nope, we're not ready, we're gonna wait, or maybe we're gonna tackle stuff. I think that's gonna be the work of PTB on the board in terms of what we wanna do with what we aren't able to finance through the budget or through the reserve account, and how we wanna tackle those things. So that is what I've got. So if there's any other parts of the plan, the other piece that I will just say, so when you look at, and the plan, we'll post it on the website, I send it out, post it on the Facebook page. But what we started to do this year is in the strategies, the original goal list, we've added in place. Like if it's done, if it's not something we're actively working on anymore because it's just done and we're doing it, we marked in place. So you can start to see the things that aren't gonna show up in our goals, yearly goals and focuses, because we've done it and it's just part of how we're doing business now.
Anybody have any further questions for Carrie? Not seeing any. Thank you, Carrie.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that, I believe, will take us through the vast majority. I think the only thing we have left is an executive session, which I'll take a motion for. I assume we'll be going there, or?
Well, it depends how
Depends if
quickly these
people-
guys wanna go. We can stay
Okay.
here.
All right, so with that, all we have left is an executive session. Do I have a motion to go to executive for review of information on confidential records pursuant to number 1, MRSA, does that have a term that,
4056F, just
would
say
that
that.
thing has a term?
I think it's subsection.
Subsection? 4056F. Thank you.
Did
Are you
somebody make a
seconding,
motion?
Kyle, or are you moving it?
Who made a motion?
I'm moving it.
A motion for Kyle,
I'll second
a
it.
second by Crystal. Any discussion on going to executive? Seeing none, all those in favor of going to executive? Opposed? Seeing none, unanimous. Let the fun begin.